Good evening once again. I'm Keith Ranford. Our top story tonight, an in-depth look at that new deal to legalize recreational marijuana here in New York. Now, we do know that the law opens up the sale of recreational marijuana for adults over the age of 21, and that driving under the influence of marijuana will remain illegal, a misdemeanor. But what about the decriminalization of marijuana? And how about drug testing at your place of employment? 7 Eyewitness News reporter Ali Tui takes a closer look tonight.
I certainly do look forward to the passage of the legislation.
A vote expected Tuesday marks one final hurdle in Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes' marathon fight to legalize recreational use of marijuana for those over the age of 21. The Democrat has been pushing for its passage for years.
Maintain your principled, consistent message, and eventually you will be heard.
The legislation legalizes possession of up to 3 ounces of marijuana and establishes state regulation. New Yorkers would also be allowed to grow up to 3 mature plants in your home, and prior convictions would be expunged. So when do all of the changes take effect? Peoples-Stokes says it would happen in stages, but decriminalization is expected to happen almost immediately after it's signed into law by the governor.
You're not going to be ticketed for it unless you're driving or you're somewhere using it in public where public smoking is not allowed.
Establishing licensed dispensaries is more complicated. Peoples-Stokes says that could take 18 months to 2 years. The proposed legislation includes a 13% excise tax. 9% would go to the state, 3% would go to impacted localities, and the remaining 1% would go to county governments. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz is critical of that breakdown and questions whether 1% covers county services related to the legislation.
We're the ones that provide addiction services. We're the ones that provide mental health services. We're the ones that are also involved in law enforcement, from arrest, whether it's the sheriff, all the way through trials.
Is 1% devoted to counties enough?
Well, I think it's a lot more than 1% because 20% of the revenue will be spent into the needs of people, and the county is the human service level of government.
Another issue covered in the bill is employment. According to Buffalo Niagara Partnership Vice President Grant Loomis, the legislation gives employers the right to maintain a drug-free workplace, something not covered in previous versions of the bill.
It is classifying cannabis like an intoxicant, just like alcohol. So an employer knows how to, from an HR perspective, deal with intoxicants, and this will now fit into that category.
Under the proposal, cities, towns, and villages can opt out of the marijuana shops by passing a local law by December 31st. They cannot opt out of legalizing recreational marijuana. Ali Tui, 7 Eyewitness News.